Hey guys, in today's video I'm going to be showing my settings for DMZ in 2025, including config file settings. If you're just here for the settings, it'll be in the first half of the video. For some quick breakdowns on certain settings and recommendations for mice, mousepads, and sensitivities, stick around. This video is timestamped, so feel free to skip around. My PC specs will be linked in the video's description, and if you have any questions, ask in the comments and I'll try my best to answer all of them. Drop a like, enjoy the vid, peace. Hey guys, so I just wanted to touch over a couple of settings. So if you haven't already noticed, I'm running an all AMD build, but for those running NVIDIA, if you go to the graphics section, under the quality tab, scroll all the way down to post-processing effects, you'll see there's an option for nvidia reflex low latency with 2 options for on or on plus boost. So typically if you're CPU bound, you're going to want to run on plus boost. If you're GPU bound, you're going to want to run just on. So a quick way to figure out if you're CPU or GPU bound is to go to your settings, go to the interface, scroll down to telemetry, and hit the drop down, and it'll be an option for graphic card GPU time or processor CPU time. So you're going to turn both of those on, and then look at the top left, and you'll see 2 little notifications there where it says the number and then MS. You're going to want to now go ahead and queue into a match, hop in a heli or just hop in a vehicle, kind of drive around and see whichever number is higher. Whichever number is higher, that is what you are bound by. So again, if you are CPU bound, you're going to want to leave it on plus boost. If you're GPU bound, leave it on. Another setting I want to touch over really quickly is your render worker count in the config file. So you're going to go ahead and open up your config file, scroll all the way down to the bottom, and second to last, there'll be an option which says thread count for handling the job queue. So next, you're going to want to find out what CPU you're running, which you can do by hitting the Windows key, typing in system information, and when the window pops up, look under processor, and it should tell you the model of the CPU you have as well as how many cores. Now, if you're running an Intel CPU, you're going to take the amount of performance cores it has and subtract 1 from that, and that'll be the number you put under the renderer worker count. Now, if you're running AMD with 2 CCDs, you're going to half the total number of cores, and that'll be the number that you put under renderer worker count. If you're running AMD with 1 CCD, you're going to take total number of cores, subtract 1, and that'll be the number you put under the renderer worker count. Now for myself, I'm running the 9800X3D, which is an 8-core processor, but under my renderer worker count, I have it set to 5. Now I think that 7 would be a good place to start. After experimenting around, 5 felt the smoothest to me, and it felt the best for me, and that's what I set it to. So go ahead and experiment around with that, see what works best for you. Just do not set this to -1. So I get a lot of people asking me what sensitivity they should run, as well as what mouse and mousepad they should use. This all honestly boils down to personal preference, as well as how much desk space you have, what grip style you use for your mouse, if you're a wrist aimer or arm aimer, the size of your mouse, and so on and so forth. So in this Excel spreadsheet, I've listed a bunch of different DMZ streamers who play on mouse and key, as well as their DPI multiplied by their in-game sense to give you their centimeters by 360. Centimeters by 360 is basically how many centimeters it takes to make a full 360 in a game, which is universal across different games. Typically, the higher your centimeters by 360, the slower your sense will be in the game, and the lower your centimeters by 360, the higher your sense will be in a game. There's pros and cons to running both low and high senses. This will honestly come down to personal preference and playstyle, as well as if you're a wrist or arm aimer, as well as mouse grip style. These videos kind of help me figure out what worked best for me. I'll link them in the description for those that are interested. As far as mice recommendations, I recommend watching Boardsy on YouTube, who does pretty in-depth and honest reviews on mice and mouse pads. I also like to go to ardings.com and look up the mouse and check its click latency to make sure it's low, and its CPI performance to make sure the sensor accurately tracks your movements with the mouse. I find that the Pixar 3395 and 3950 sensors work well, although some other mouse companies have their own flagship sensors. As for polling rates, honestly anything past 2000 Hz isn't really noticeable for me, and running 4000 or 8000 just drains battery life on wireless mice. If you use a claw grip while playing, I can recommend the Razer Viper V2 and the Lamzo Atlantis Mini 4K, which have both worked well for me in the past. As for fingertip grip, I ran the Arbiter Kutsu for a while and I liked it, but I'm now currently running the Final Mouse ULX Prophecy Competition. The only reason I wouldn't recommend this mouse is because it is pricey, and the shipping time took nearly 8 weeks before it shipped out. And they're hard to acquire because they get sold out very quickly every time a new model drops. As far as palm grip goes, I haven't really used this grip style, so I can't make any recommendations. For mouse pads, this will depend on whether you like soft pads or hard pads. Some of the mouse pads I'll mention are by Wallhack, which is a mouse pad company, which also sells mouse skates, sleeves, and some other goodies. I'm affiliated with them, and you can use code KICKS for 10% off the store at wallhack.com/kicks. For soft pads, I found that Artisan honestly makes the best soft pads, where you can choose how hard the pad is, ranging from extra soft to mid. I personally run the Artisan Raiden Extra Soft, a speed pad which is easy to press down into, which I find useful when trying to track and then target switch. Most people that get Artisans usually go for the Artisan High-End, which is a safe bet for those looking to upgrade. Artisan can be a little pricey and they usually ship from Japan. If you don't want to wait and want to save some money, I can recommend the SY001 from Wallhack, which is a good control pad. As for glass pads, I've tried the Razer Atlas, Pulsar Super Glide, and the Wallhack SP004. Honestly, I can easily say that the Wallhack SP004 gave me the best glass pad experience, and I can definitely recommend it for those looking to try out glass pads. Keep in mind, however, they're usually more expensive and do require constant wiping down to maintain that smooth glide that one tries to achieve with glass pads. I also recommend getting a gaming sleeve as well, which Wallhack also sells, but I've also liked Pulsar's gaming sleeves in the past. With keyboards, I run the Wooting 60HE, which I absolutely love. However, if you want something less expensive, go for the Arbiter Studio Polar 65 Pro Kitsune, which is honestly a budget Wooting. Last but not least, upgrade your mouse skates. These are basically the little feet on the bottom of your mouse. X-Ray Pad makes pretty good ones, and I currently run the X-Ray Pad Obsidian Pro Dots. If you're running a glass pad, Wallhack collab with X-Ray Pad to make dot skates specifically for glass pads, so go check those out. Where is it? It's a gameplay one. So it's like this, right? So the only issue to that is like when you're trying to like regularly hop, like you see I can't really hop through this window. I have to like spam it, you know, and it's like you have that issue a lot when you're in like these windows right down here, right? But I set like a mantle keybind for it because I got the idea from Warzone. So I just spam the mantle keybind when I'm like buy something I need a mantle like that. I can get through there like really easily.